though.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel, and this is part 2 of What If Deku Saved a Goddess. You guys seem to really like part 1, so here is a part 2 for the 5k special. If you guys would actually like to see another part of this, please tell me in the comment section down below, and also, we have also got social medias down there as well. If you guys actually like to get in contact with me or get a shout out at the beginning of the videos, that would be highly appreciated. And also, while you guys are down there, I need you guys to do me a big favor and hit the subscribe button down below. I know it may sound like I'm begging, but I'm not. I just want to see how many of you guys actually are interested in my content, and it motivates me even more to actually upload videos for you guys. Without further ado, let's begin our video. Let's begin with the actual training towards the actual 9 months. As Izuku and Elizabeth both actually got up that same day, as Izuku was actually walking downstairs to see his mother setting up everything for his dinner. "Hi mom, what's up?" Inko was about to turn around with a gaze of fury in her eyes. "Sit down, eat your dinner and get lost." "I don't want to deal with you at the moment," Inko said, infuriated. "Why, what's up mom?" Izuku said. "Nothing, eat your dinner and get out now," Inko said, miscontinuing her words with dinner and breakfast. As Izuku just ate his breakfast and just left for the day, confused why his mother's acting like this. As the moment Izuku jogged all the way to the actual beach area, Izuku saw Elizabeth actually just waiting for him there. "Oh, hi Izuku," she said, walking up behind him. "Oh, hi Elizabeth, what's up?" Izuku said, as they both walked onto the beach waiting for a certain someone, as this certain someone came crashing down onto the beach with a loud thud. "I am here," this person shouted at the top of his lungs, as Izuku and Elizabeth both looked back to see a hulking blonde behemoth known as All Might, as All Might told them both to actually clean up the beach like canon, as they all would have cleaned the beach up as 5 months went by. Izuku's relationship with his mother would have gotten a lot worse, with Inko starting to be more and more out the house, and when she's in, she's starting to drink more and more. Izuku was really confused at this, just shrugging it off, thinking it was just her month or something like that, but she seems to have it a little bit too often. So Izuku started to call up All Might and ask him about this, saying, because remember, Izuku's our innocent little bunny, so you don't want to ruin that, do you? As All Might would have told Izuku to meet him at Dagobah Beach. I think he might want to hear this in person, as Izuku would have walked to the beach that very day, being told for All Might, and the big speech that Izuku would have actually told All Might about his mother. "Izuku, my boy, or Midoriya, my boy, your mom's depressed. I don't know how to say this correctly, but she's miserable for some reason. And I don't know why, but to make it seems like the problem is herself." All Might said. "Why would that be the problem?" "I don't know for sure. I haven't met your mother yet, Izuku. So it's going to be really hard to actually tell why she's depressed. I'll try and get a full explanation on this by asking Sakauchi about it, but out of that, we better make sure your mother doesn't try anything stupid, so if anything happens, give me a call, okay?" All Might said, handing his number. As another month went by, as Izuku decided to actually get inherited of One For All from All Might. As Izuku's training with One For All, Izuku broke his arm the first day he got it, because All Might's stupid ass forgot to train him in it, haha lol. As he decided to call up Gran Torino to actually help him out train. As Gran Torino helped Izuku train for the rest of the months, with Izuku mastering One For All around about, let's say 30%. Remember, he's got his own body like canon, so he's basically got season 5 body built now. So Izuku's quite henched, as Izuku and Elizabeth both started walking around the area that very day, as they came around the corner to see a big hulking behemoth towering above 2 girls, and Izuku actually started to walk forward, saying, "Excuse me," as Izuku was stopped by Elizabeth. Izuku, what are you doing? We need to go. Let's just leave this to the heroes, Elizabeth said. No, that's not what heroes do, Elizabeth. Heroes come and protect people no matter what the cost is, Izuku said, pulling his arm away. Izuku, please don't, Elizabeth said. As Izuku just started to rush in, thinking that the villain's going to full swing, but he read his information correctly. As Izuku just went up to the man asking what was wrong. As the big hulking behemoth asked the little boy, saying, "Do you know where this person's agency is?" Him handing a letter to Izuku. Yeah, it's go straight down the road. It should be 3-4 blocks, turn left, go down another 2 blocks, then turn right and you're there, Izuku said. As the big hulking behemoth man started to walk off. As the 2 girls started to fall onto their knees and started to cry. Once they were finished crying, they both thanked Izuku for his bravery. As Elizabeth came rushing up to him, saying, "Dummy baka, I thought you were going to get hurt," she said. "Don't worry, Elizabeth, I'll be fine," Izuku said, smiling. As that'll be the end of this actual bit of the episode, time to go on to the actual entrance exam. As the day came of the entrance exam, as Izuku's training with All Might would have exceeded his expectations, as Izuku now has over 45% control of One For All, and able to actually copy Gran Torino's style and figured out to use his legs early like canon. As Izuku's life would have been more or less the same like the original, Izuku got the same score on the test, getting 5th place on the actual mock. As the actual explanation of the actual entrance exam would have taken place like canon, as Izuku would have actually been shouted at by Ida or lectured by Ida, saying that Izuku Midoriya was actually chatting during the entrance exam, which this time Ida wasn't wrong. He was talking to Elizabeth about something special that he had planned after the actual exam. After Izuku actually arrived at his actual planted area, Elizabeth being in B, Izuku being in A, as Izuku actually managed to stretch his body all the way. Izuku was actually about to go to the front of the line until he got his hand placed on him by a certain someone. "Hey, you're not going over there to distract that girl, are you?" a big Sonic the Hedgehog said. "Can we all just get that in the actual comment section, please?" As Izuku would have just said to the boy, "What do you mean? I'm not going to distract her. I'm going to the front so I can get a head lead," Izuku said. "Oh really?" this blue Sonic the Hedgehog said. As Izuku just started to walk to the front and just completely ignored the nervous brown-haired girl. As Izuku got into his running stance, charging up 5% One For All. As the moment the gates were open, Izuku charged in at max speed, destroying like 3 robots in the span of 50 seconds. As Izuku increased the percentages of One For All, 15, 20, 25, as Izuku just went to a speeding bullet motion, him being a blur to the naked eye, as Izuku started to rush forward and destroy more and more robots in his wake, destroying quite a hefty amount to try and get himself up to 75 points in the span of 10 minutes. As Izuku was out to actually finish off destroying a bit more monsters or robots, until he heard a big rumble under his feet. Izuku looked behind him to actually see a bunch of monsters or robots, one giant one to be precisely the 0-pointer robot. As Izuku was about to say this would be a good challenge to actually face. As Izuku actually charged up One For All without realizing a girl was trapped underneath it until the girl screamed for help. As Izuku instantly went down to her and turned off the rubble from her feet. Izuku asked her if she could walk. She replied saying no. As Izuku charged a One For All and charged at the robot with her in his arms. As Uraraka tapped Izuku's shoulder to make him lighter so they can actually get it down perfectly fine once the impact was complete. As Izuku said, "Fuck it. 45% smash!" Izuku shouted at the top of his lungs, smashing at the robot's head, making the robot's head cave in at the front, making giant wind pressure travel through the city. Halfway through the city, the wind stopped, as silence surrounded the area until the robot collapsed in the giant amounts of rubble that was underneath it. The moment the robot collapsed, Izuku was seen there floating in midair, as Uraraka let Izuku down slowly so they both don't get injured. As Izuku actually was sat there waiting for Recovery Girl, As Recovery Girl arrived and healed up Ichako's wounds, as Izuku left the entrance exam to be greeted with Elizabeth actually jumping onto his back. "Hey Izuku, how'd you do?" she said, as her chest placed against two of his necks like pillows on an airplane flight. I'm gonna get fucked for this. As Izuku actually was confused at this, with his head going in a daze with his face blushing like a tomato. As Izuku would have just said, "I did fine," Izuku said. As Izuku and Elizabeth both chat how the actual exam went. As Izuku was walking home, he could see that his apartment building was fully emptied. As Izuku walked in to see nothing was there, it was like he was being robbed. As Izuku called up All Might, as All Might came rushing almost instantly like a speeding bullet train from Japan. As Izuku would have been shocked seeing All Might arrive there so fast. As Izuku would have just told All Might what happened and how he's here in his house at. As Izuku would have just been told by All Might, "You haven't been robbed, Izuku. Your mom's left you here on your own." All Might said, confused why. As Izuku would have asked, "Why did my mom leave me here? That makes no sense," Izuku said. "Yeah, neither does it me. We gotta go to the police station right now," All Might said, taking Izuku to the police station. As Detective Sakauchi would have done some research into Inko's identity, all sorts like that, as it would have came up negative, as they were both confused at it until Izuku's dad came into the picture of the actual computer. "Okay, here's your biological dad, Asashi Midoriya. Residence, the USA, California." Wait, that doesn't seem right. There's no actual birth dates here. There should be some here. That's what Uchi said, as he did more research into Asashi's identity, seeing a bunch of fake IDs and a bunch of other things as well. "What the fuck? What the hell is this?" Takeuchi said, confused, as he would have actually done some more and more research into Asashi, coming up blank once he reached the end. As Asashi was confused at this, or Sakauchi was confused at this point, thinking why the hell would he make so many fake IDs for? This couldn't be who I think it is, could it? Nah, it can't be. It can't be him, Takauchi said. As a couple of hours went by, as Elizabeth's parents were notified as Izuku's emergency call number. As the moment they arrived, they saw Izuku there staring at the floor, confused but curious forming in his eyes. As Elizabeth came to sit down with Izuku and comfort him, as Izuku just said, "Oh, hi Elizabeth, what's up?" Izuku said, still in shock. "Izuku, you okay?" Elizabeth said, worried for him. "Yeah, I'm fine," Izuku said, stuttering on his words and shaking. "Yeah, I'm fine," Izuku said, starting to laugh maniacally. Why'd she leave me?" Izuku said, starting to cry. "Why'd she leave me? Why'd she leave me?" Izuku said, starting to laugh while he was crying. As Izuku started to have a hug from Elizabeth, as her head went into his chest, saying, "Come on, Izuku, step out of it," she said. As Izuku stepped out of his conscious mind, as a couple of minutes went by, as Elizabeth's family came into the room, telling Izuku that they would be living with him, or the other way around, as you would like to call it. As Izuku and Elizabeth and their parents would have gone home, the moment they opened the door, they saw Izuku just sail straight onto the couch, laying down there just like he was passed out. As they went to see how Izuku was doing, realizing he was just passed out. As Elizabeth's parents were just thinking of something. Should we reveal our secret to him? Well, he is one of our daughter's bestest of friends. For God's sake, they said. As Elizabeth's parents both came through the door, saying to her daughter, "Hey Elizabeth, sweetheart, come here," she said. "Would it be okay to, by you standards, do you trust Izuku with your life?" she said, and he said in unison, "Yeah, I do. What's up, Mom? What's up, Dad? What's up?" she said, confused. as Elizabeth would have got a hand on his shoulder saying, "I think it's time to tell young Midoriya the truth about us and how we came from above," he said, as Elizabeth would have said, "You sure, Mom? You sure, Dad? Are you sure this would be the great idea at this very moment? You know what Grand Priest Michael would do if he found out a human knew of our existence. Yeah, I'm aware, and I'm willing to take that price that comes with it. So we're going to have to take it as long as we go," as Elizabeth's father would have agreed to this as a couple of hours went by, as Izuku would have awoken to an Elizabeth sleeping on his chest. "Elizabeth," Izuku said, getting up from his space, as Elizabeth just hugged him even more without waking up. "5 more minutes, okay," she said, and under her breath, as Izuku nudged her a little bit, trying to get up. As the moment Izuku got up, she awoke. "Izuku, you're awake," she said, jumping at him. As the moment she did that, her parents walked into the room, seeing Izuku shirtless almost, with Elizabeth almost half naked hugging Izuku, as the father was saying, "Izuku," coming with a dark aura around him. That's a joke, by the way, she really isn't half naked. That's a joke, that's a joke, that's a joke! As Izuku and everyone else would have actually just had a good laugh with Elizabeth's father just having a rage, as they would have sat down with Izuku and told him everything about them, how they're a member of the goddess race clan, and they might not be leaving this mortal realm very soon, but it would be in the seeable future, he said, and he said at the exact same time, "Wait, you're leaving? When?" He said, "As we just said, we don't know. If we leave, you won't be able to see Elizabeth again," the man said, as Izuku just looked at her saying, "Is there any possible way you can stay here?" "Yeah, but it's really risky," he said. "You're gonna have to become one of us, Izuku," he said. "Wait, what? One of what?" "A member of the goddess race. Instead of a goddess, you would be an angel." Izuku was just sitting there shocked and speechless, as Izuku just stood up, went to a corner, and bashed his head on a wall and came back with a bloodied skull. "If it means I can protect her, yes, I will accept it," Izuku said, as her father would just said, "Good, that was a test. We're not actually leaving this mortal realm like hell we are. We've had too much fun here. So I'm not becoming an angel?" Izuku said, as the man said, "No, you're not. That's just a test of your commitment, that's all." "Oh, thank God," Izuku said. "Oh, thank God you're not leaving," Izuku said under his breath, very, very relieved, as Izuku laid back in the seat thinking about something until the doorbell rang, as Izuku stood up and went to the door to see it was the mailman delivering 2 letters for Izuku and Elizabeth. Izuku and Elizabeth both opened their letters in unison, as 2 holograms popped up of All Might, saying that they all passed, with Izuku getting first place in score, getting 75 hero points, with, drumroll please, I'm just clicking my fingers, it's pretty obvious I am, 120 points from the 0 pointer and all the points you got from beforehand, All Might said. Izuku and Elizabeth both cheered as 2 days went by, as Izuku and Elizabeth both got their actual costumes nice and ready for the actual practical portions of the exam. They did actually have it, but they didn't actually have it at that very moment, so it makes sense with that, as Izuku and Elizabeth both got their actual uniforms on, as they both exited the door, walking straight forward to the actual school of their dreams. When they arrived there, they were standing outside of a big huge door, as Izuku opened the door to see it was Ida and Bakugo fighting like cannon, as Izuku and Elizabeth both walked in and sat down at their seats, very calm and peaceful, until Bakugo noticed. "Oi, Deku!" Bakugo shouted at Izuku with furious rage. "How the hell did you get here? You must have cheated." "Die, Deku!" Bakugo said, trying to throw an explosion, but we couldn't throw an explosion one bit, as Bakugo would have looked behind him to see Eraserhead using his quirk on Bakugo. Young Bakugo, use your quirk one more time in class, you will be expelled, Eraserhead said, as Eraserhead let go of his quirk, letting Bakugo just sit there confused why his quirk was cancelled out. As the rest of the actual physical portions of like when they went to the changing rooms would have gone similar to canon, but Elizabeth's changing rooms, the girl was have noticed that she had angel wings or white wings on her back, as they all would have gone to her and asking her why did she have those little wings on her back, and she would have said, oh, it's my quirk, it basically lets me levitate above ground when I extend them, and I can shoot light out of my hands, she said. So like light reflection, as an invisible girl would have said. So it's similar to my quirk, yeah? Actually, yours is invisibility, right? You can reflect light off you? Yes. Well, mine's quite the opposite. Instead of putting it in me, it's more or less shoot it outwards into like kinetic blasts kinda like thing, she said, replying to Toru. Oh, so it's similar but not too similar. Okay, thank you, Toru said, as they all would have gone outside to see Aizawa sitting there, waiting for everyone to actually come out, with Izuku just being standing there for the past 5 minutes waiting for all the boys as well to come out of the changing rooms. As for the actual exams, everything would have gone similar, but Izuku would have got number 1 in most places. But for the side to side jumping, I would see, not side to side jumping, the races, I would see Elizabeth getting second here because of her speed with her wings, and Izuku getting first because he used 50% one for all to actually win, just actually getting a neck forward than actually Elizabeth would do. Izuku just managed to actually accelerate from Elizabeth with 50% one for all on his side. As Izuku throughout the test would have actually broken multiple records, same with Elizabeth through her light refractionable strength. As throughout those couple of hours or not even days, a couple of minutes, the chart would have been confirmed as Izuku would have been first by just a slide, Elizabeth second, as everyone else would have got the same marks but a little bit lower down. Mineta getting last place, he wouldn't be expelled because I've got a plan for him actually. As we go back to their actual changing rooms, as the moment they all entered the changing rooms, Kirishima finally took notice of Izuku. Can we get Kirishima as a crackhead in the comics? As Kirishima would have just said to Izuku, hey Izuku, what is Mineta doing? As Kirishima would have just told Izuku to look behind him, with Mineta trying to look through a hole. As Mineta would have just saw a hole and tried to look through it to see a bountiful of beauty babes. I want to see them beautiful babes, Mineta said, as Izuku would have just let out his intense aura, speeding at Mineta, as Mineta wouldn't have realized it, as Mineta's head would have been curve stomped into a goddamn locker door, with Mineta's nose breaking and one of his teeth being chipped. As Mineta would have tried to get up, but Izuku would have knocked Mineta straight back down. You dare look at her, or even dare look for that hole, I will kill you, Izuku said, at Mineta, glaring at him menacingly. As Mineta's actual vocal tones changed at this point, as Mineta started to shake vigorously, almost passing out from the intense pressure Izuku was letting off at this very moment. As they all went outside, as Izuku met up with Elizabeth that very day, as Izuku and Elizabeth both walked home. Izuku and Elizabeth both arrived back home, as they would have been greeted with their parents, sat down and ate. As Izuku said he was going to go out to train, as Izuku trained for a little while. As Izuku saw a giant light that was in the sky. Wow, that's such a pretty star, Izuku said, as Izuku walked back into the house once he finished training, had a shower and went to bed. The next day arrived actually, as Izuku was so happy to see that, as Elizabeth and Izuku both walked downstairs, had their breakfast and went straight out the door, booming like mad, as Izuku would have arrived at UA, as this is where the battle training would commence, as All Might would have done the same thing like canon, pushing down the door like a hero. I'm pushing the door like a normal person, All Might said, as everyone else would have cheered, everyone getting the same reactions except from Izuku and Elizabeth. as everyone else would have actually gone out to actually get changed. The only difference here would be, I would say Izuku would have his season 4 outfit, while Elizabeth, I do not know, I would say she'll have a goddess type of outfit, but I'll try and actually find an outfit that would actually suit her. If I can find one, I'll put it on the screen right now. I'll make sure this gets timestamped as well, so you guys can actually see her outfit. As Elizabeth and Izuku both walked outside to their actual respective areas. As Izuku and everyone both drew their actual areas, and actually picked up a ball to actually get their name being called. As Izuku got A, as Elizabeth also got A. Elizabeth was very convenient actually. Izuku and Elizabeth were both thinking in unison. As All Might said, all the teams are now picked. Now everyone getting your team buddy, and let's get into the matches. Randomizer on, All Might said, pointing to the button on the TV. As the first fight against was Izuku and Elizabeth versus Bakugo and Uraraka. As Izuku and Elizabeth were meant to be the heroes, while the Bakugo and Uraraka are the villains. As Izuku and Elizabeth both sat outside while they waited. As Elizabeth and Izuku waited quite a while until All Might get them their go ahead. As Izuku and Elizabeth both walked through the door, waiting for their first move to actually take an effect. As Izuku told Elizabeth to actually stay here while Izuku just scanned through the area. As Izuku jumped all the way to the top of the roof, seeing the bomb on the 5th floor. As Izuku would have told Elizabeth this, as Izuku told Elizabeth to shoot a ray of beam of light straight through where she is standing right now on the top of the roof. As Elizabeth did so, shooting a hole, making this into an distraction for Bakugo. As Izuku slipped into the room, punching Bakugo in the stomach, knocking him to a wall. Uraraka wouldn't have had enough time to react, as Uraraka would have been chopped upon the neck, being knocked out almost instantly. As Bakugo would have got back up at this time, firing explosions at Izuku. As Izuku would have pulled an All Might, blocked it, and slammed Bakugo right into the floor, knocking Bakugo clean out of his air. As Bakugo was trembling to stand up, as his gauntlet flashed red. As, "Take this, you damn nerd!" Bakugo said. "No, young Bakugo, don't pull that, he'll die." All Might said, "Not if he dodges." As Bakugo pulled the pin out of his gauntlet in a furious hurry, as a giant ray of explosions came flying through to Izuku like cannon. But this didn't stop Izuku, however. "Delaware smash!" Izuku shouted as a giant gust of air came thrashing through Bakugo, surrounding the lobby in air, crushing and dispersing the explosion, but most of it still hit Izuku, grazing him just barely. As Izuku would have just said, "Is that best you got, you damn Pomeranian?" Izuku said, infuriating Bakugo. As before he could do anything, "Hero Team wins!" shouted All Might. As Bakugo was confused at this, thinking why did he just say Hero Team won, until he looked over to see Elizabeth with her wings expended, and another hole bigger in the window. "How did I not notice this?" Bakugo said, infuriated. As Bakugo would have tried to fire up an explosion, but was stopped by All Might. "Young Bakugo, if you fire an explosion in this entire area, you will be sent to the principal's office," All Might said. As this is where we're going to leave our video off today, guys. I do hope you guys enjoyed this long ass video. It's a lot longer than part 1. Thank you very much. If you guys would actually like the next part of this, I'm recording it right now. I'm trying to get 3 videos out in the past 3 days of 3 parts of this What If. So I do hope you guys enjoy it. And make sure you guys join the Discord server that is linked down in the description. We're getting insanely close to 400 members. If you guys can do me that favor, that would be highly appreciated. We get daily, almost weekly updates in that server. You guys could have so much fun in that Discord server. It'll be so much fun to hear new members and new faces there. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, bros.